the kids want the money. They don't want the hassle.
Right.
That's what they want.
Jay's grandsons and Kyle's sons would want to inherit.
Yeah.
Right? Does that make sense? Do you think those boys would want to inherit a bunch of rental property? I don't know.
We don't know. But they'll probably like the cash flow off of it, I'm sure.
Notes, the old book.
We're at Note Expo 2025, and the first time we had no audio, the second time I had no video. So anyways, I got a designated person, and I'm excited to have a conversation with Jay to get a chance to hear a little bit about your story, how you started, what you've been doing, and why you got into the note business, right? So if I'm not mistaken, teacher, coach, right?
Yes. Background. I grew up on a farm and hog and dairy farm, so I was driving a tractor by the time I was 6 years old, an old John Deere putt-putt. For any of you that were out there in the country, you'll understand that. No, I was a track and field coach for 5 years, Division I. All right, and then got involved in pharmaceutical sales and did that for 17 years. Started doing some real estate on the side. I did my first deal in 2004, and then got caught in some downsizing, corporate downsizing that was taking place end of 2006, beginning of 2007, and decided to pursue real estate full time. So I always say that I started in 2004, went full time in 2007. That was dictated to me pretty much at that point.
You got
but,
forced.
hey, we went.
Yeah.
We went for it. So my background, we've had as many as 45 rentals. We've done over 100 flips. We have purchased a number of tax liens over the years. Our rentals are all within 30 minutes of our office, specifically designed that way. We self-managed for years. Okay. Yeah. My son-in-law Kyle came on board in 2014. He's been with us now for quite a while. All right. He runs all of the real estate side. And as we talked, all right, I have one child. As we talked in the next generation, what that's going to look like, we really had a good heart-to-heart discussion from the standpoint of what does he want? What does it look like for him down the road? And he doesn't want to necessarily manage real estate for the rest of his life, and he's a smart man, all right, in that respect, so got it. And he started looking at different things, and he's actually the one that kind of got us looking at notes. Notes fit a little bit more of his personality, so we started doing research on who's out there, who's doing it. Not just the slick marketing, but who's got the track record behind it.
Right.
And there's no one else out there that's close to what Eddie's got in that respect, and Joe and just the whole team with the amount of experience. So we got involved with Note School in 2019. All right, and we initially started investing with. I actually started investing with a self-directed IRA. Okay, I've done through the self-directed IRAs. I've done private lending. I've done fix and flips. I've held rentals in there. I've bought tax liens. We've done seller financing through those, and started buying some notes that way. That's what we've done. Now everything's notes. We've gotten rid of everything, liquidated it all out, and it's all notes now. So it's all cash flowing. Way less risk with the notes.
Wow.
And then. We started a company. We moved some money from our real estate side. We set up a note company, and now we basically work to align ourselves with people who are creating notes on a routine basis, all right, such as you, all right. We've had the privilege to work together, all right, and we help provide liquidity, all right, to those individuals so they can go and do another deal, all right. We typically buy a partial, what's called, which is nothing more than a certain number of payments for a certain period of time. And we purchase that with our own capital. And then once the note has transferred to us and everything is operating the way it should through the transfer, We recapitalize our money with private money. All right, and so primarily a passive investor that wants an above average return, we pledge the note and the note in the mortgage or deed of trust as the collateral, all right, for that loan that we have with the private lender. We take care of all of the heavy lifting. We manage all of it. We place everything with the licensed servicing company that services the note, and we manage the servicing company and make sure they're paid, that the borrower is paid every month, and then we take the arbitrage is what we do on a consistent basis.
Yeah, no, I love your model, and I love your presentation, and you getting a chance to hear you speak at the conference. So let's break it down for those that
that was
maybe
quick.
Just,
that was the real high 30-foot level.
So you buy a mortgage note, right? Or
Correct.
say somebody, for example, such as myself, sells a property, owner finances it,
Correct.
Gets $10,000, $20,000 down payment. Let's just say keep it simple. There's a $100,000 balance still that they have to pay, just like if they went to a bank. There's a $100,000 loan.
Correct.
Right? And say we did that $100,000 loan, and the borrower's paying 9% for the next, to say, 20 years or so.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And I'm like, well, I may have wanted that passive income, and then something happens where I might want to buy a new car, might want to buy another property, might want to buy another investment, and I'm like, I need to liquidate, this note. And I reach out to somebody like you, and I say, hey, Jay, I'm looking to sell my note. And we come together, right? And
Right.
You basically give me a lump sum of cash, and I transfer basically the legal ownership and right to
Over
that
to
note.
us.
Over
That's
to you, right? We assign the note. Now you're the note holder.
We are the note
right?
holder. If anyone has ever received a letter in the mail on their mortgage or their deed of trust saying that your note has been assigned, that is exactly what's happened. Whether it's us in what we're doing or whether it's by a large bank, it's the same exact protocol.
Exactly. People don't realize that banks do this all the time, right? You may have gotten your loan, through Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase, or all these other different companies, and after 1 month, 6 months, a year, you get a letter in the mail saying, hey, as you said, your note has been transferred, assigned over to XYZ company, and you're going to make payments to Mr. Cooper or whatever the case may be, and they transfer it over. So that's essentially what it is. So you've bought the note, now you own the note, and I get my lump sum of money, and I get to do whatever I need to do with that cash, right? So now you own the note, and then even now you're like, well, I use my cash, and now I need to replenish that capital.
I need to replace my
so
capital.
Now what do you do?
All right, so what we do then is that we have private capital, people who have, I'll say lazy money, but it could be IRA money. It could be, our avatar tends to be the individual that is close to retirement or is in retirement, or someone that's a busy professional or someone that's a business owner. They like the idea of passive income that's coming in on a consistent basis. They just don't have the bandwidth, number one, is because they're busy in their profession or whatever in that respect, or there's someone that they don't like the volatility that's taking place in the market. What we do with the note space is a great counter to what's happening in the stock market. All right, what we do is very consistent, predictable, it's contractual, it does not have the ups and downs of what the market does. So it is a good counterbalance, all right, or a good diversification model to offset the risk that people are taking in the market.
Right.
And what we essentially provide then in that scenario is, all right, if you look at what the fixed income market provides as far as returns, you're looking at your CDs, which would be 4% in that ballpark. You're looking at T-bills, which may be 6%. You look at insurance products, all right, insurance products that don't have a component in the market. All right, in the stock, because there's a lot of insurance products. You're taking this, even though you may be in an insurance product, you're very often taking the same risk that you had over here. So if in the stock market itself, but if it's a whole life policy or something along that line, you're looking at 3, 4, 5, maybe 6% return.
Right.
Well, we provide an 8% return is what we essentially do, backed by something that is worth value. All right, we
Massive.
it's backed by the real estate itself. We own the debt, okay, but that debt is backed by the real estate itself, and we have certain mechanisms as far as how much we buy and everything to make sure that there is what we call an equity spread in there or a cushion to protect, all right, our private lenders and our money as well, because we keep some money in each one of the deals also.
Right, and you know, probably for a lot of people that are watching and trying to understand what that means exactly, right, is if you have a $100,000 loan based on obviously your experience and due diligence, that property more than likely is not worth $100,000. More than likely, as you said, there's a spread there to basically cover you that property more than likely is worth 140, 150, 160. There's a spread there, right? Where
there
if something goes wrong, because that's one of the biggest questions. Well, what if they stop paying?
Exactly. That's the biggest fear that everyone has.
Right.
The first question.
So let's break it down. What happens?
Yeah. What happens? All right. So there's multiple things that can happen. First of all, we have all the options of what a bank has. Okay.
Right.
We don't immediately go to foreclosure. That's not what we basically do. The first thing is you need to find out whether, all right, if they've missed a payment, what's the cause that they've missed a payment? Is it something that's short term? If it's something that's short term, we can work through that type of scenario very easily. Or is it something that's catastrophic?
Right.
If it's something that's catastrophic, all right, and they can't recover, then there's other mechanisms that we do. Potentially a deed in lieu of foreclosure. There's a number of other things that are possible.
Loan modification,
a potential
maybe.
loan modification that's in there.
Right.
So it's not the first thing. The foreclosure is really the last thing that we go to. But sometimes that is the only the only viable option.
Right.
Okay. But it's not by any means the first. So, but all during that time with our private lenders, we continue to pay them.
Right.
All right. We keep reserves back in our portfolio at all times. Roughly whatever we're paying out on a monthly basis, we keep at least a month to a month and a half liquid at all times. As an example, if we're paying out $50,000 a month, we're going to keep between $50,000 and $75,000 liquid all the time in our portfolio. So if we have a couple loans that go bad,
not a big deal.
It's not a big deal. We continue to pay our private lenders just as they always have been. The ACH comes into their account by the 15th of the month, and we handle everything with the borrower. And if we have to go through the foreclosure process, we take it through the foreclosure process. All of that. The private lender does not have to worry about any of that.
Yeah, it's very simple. It's an opportunity for somebody that says, you know what, I want to deploy my capital in something that I'm familiar with, which is real estate. It's backed by real estate, and simply I get paid once a month. I don't have to watch the market and say, you know what is this company going to say or do this week, right? Which could affect my portfolio, and right. And there's a lot of uncertainty in the market.
Yes, there is right now.
So yeah, I mean, I had a phone call earlier this week with somebody that had reached out and said, hey, you know what? I'd like to take some chips off the table. I have my money in the market, and I want to put it in more notes because, as you mentioned, it's consistent, predictable, and you know. The
analogy I always use, everyone remembers the tortoise and the hare story as a kid. All right. The hare is the market.
Right.
You never know where it's going. Okay, it's up and down all around. We're Mr. Steady Eddie here with Mr. Turtle. Okay,
right.
I tease our private lenders whenever we close with them, particularly for the first time. I said this will be probably the most boring investment that you will ever own, because that payment comes in like clockwork every month, and most of them say, I like boring. Boring is good at this point in our lives. So
yeah. No, you're exactly right. So I know some people that may be watching, may be a possible landlord. You may be tired. You may be what we call burnt out. You know, you got into the business because you wanted, consistent.
You want cash flow.
You wanted cash
flow. Yeah.
Yeah. And let's be honest. The majority of people get in real estate because they want cash flow. They want really a lifestyle. And sometimes, especially in this current market, as they say, the math is just not mathing.
It's not mathing.
What's the reason, or you started reallocating or selling off some of those rentals
Yes, we
over
have.
over notes.
Yes,
you know?
we have. We've seen it in our own portfolio. Okay, I will say we have not been as affected as maybe as some people in the country, partly because most of our rentals are paid off. Okay,
Right.
but our monthly cash flow, we have seen a change. Even though the challenge is that we've all seen a huge appreciation in the value of the rental properties. Okay, and that's great. We
Right.
all love that. Okay. The downside is the cost of operation
Goes up.
has gone up equally as high, okay?
Or more, yeah.
Or more, all right? And rents haven't come anyways close. They've increased, there's no question, but they haven't come anyways close to the same degree of what the inflation has for the cost of operating a rental property, meaning your maintenance, your turnover, the things that you just have to take care of as far as maintenance are concerned. But taxes and insurance have skyrocketed, okay?
Yeah.
So what used to be an 8%, kind of considered an 8% return on your rental, all right? That's been cut down to about 4 nationally.
Right.
And that's called a cap rate. If you own rentals, you probably know what a cap rate is. I would challenge you to take a really, really close look at your financials and see what your cap rate is. And a cap rate is nothing more than the value of your property divided by what your net income is for the year before you pay your debt service, okay? Look at that, okay? If you're only at a 4 or a 5 cap, and I get it, okay, we're getting depreciation and all that, okay, I'm going to challenge you on that for a moment. All right, if you're going to sell that property anywhere down the road, that depreciation is a give and a take that the government is giving you. You're going to pay that back, and you're going to pay tax on that. You could pay tax on that as much as 25%. All right, and that is due in the year that the property is sold. Or and then with all the appreciation that you've taken, if you just flip that out, okay, you got to pay tax on that. Okay, maybe that's 20%, depending upon what tax bracket you're in. A better exit strategy for you could truly be is to exit it by seller financing that to potentially a homeowner or to potentially to another investor. You get a good down payment. The installment sale method allows you to pay that appreciation, all right, or the increase in the property, the tax on that over time as the income comes in.
Right.
So as a result, you don't have to fork it out, all right, all in one shot. Unfortunately, the depreciation recapture tax you do have to pay. That's not a choice. Now, I hear you saying, okay, well, I could do a 1031. Okay, great. Yeah, you could. You're kicking the can down the road. The challenge with that, I've seen this happen with many investors over the years, is the fact that, okay, once you set up, you get ready to sell your property, and now you've got it under contract, and you sell it, you got a timeline that started.
Right.
All right. And sometimes that's difficult finding a property that you can roll that money into. And I've seen it happen time after time where people have rolled their money into a 1031 and then rolled it into another property that wasn't nearly as good as the one they sold because they're feeling the time pressure.
Yeah. You're spot on that. I just had a conversation earlier this year with someone that was wanting to do or thinking about doing a 1031 exchange. She was just thinking about it.
Yeah.
And she already felt pressure.
Yeah.
She was like, she's like, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find the right property. And as you mentioned, I've had conversations with a lot of investors, the same thing. Well, I'll just do a 1031, and them getting into a bad deal because they're pressured to find the deal right away.
Exactly.
Right?
Okay. And there aren't that many great deals out there right now.
Right.
Okay. So I don't necessarily view a 1031 as I'm not saying it can't work. I'm not saying that. But if you're going to do it, you better have that 1031, that next property that you're rolling into, you better have it already identified. You better have it locked in. And most people are not in that position to be able to do that when they sell their initial property to roll it in.
Yeah.
So that would be my guidance. So it's not the right fit for everyone in that respect.
Yeah, and I think it all just comes down to asking yourself is, what is my vision? What do I want my lifestyle to look like?
Yeah.
And if I go down this route, does this model really go into and really get me to basically live out my vision?
Where you
right?
want, yeah.
Where you want. For example, let's just say, what is a manpower and effort managing 50 rentals versus 50 notes?
Oh my gosh. You can do 100 notes for what it takes to manage 10 rentals.
Yeah.
Okay, I can tell you that personally. Okay, easily.
Yeah.
But I want to touch one other thing here concerning about selling a property on an installment sale,
Yeah.
Particularly for the landlords that are out there that you're at that point where I'm done with this. I need to get it moved. A lot of landlords have the misperception that, okay, now I'm locked into this for 20 years or 30 years or whatever, and is the person I'm selling this to, are they going to be able to perform? You don't have to wait 20 or 30 years to get all your money. All right. Once you have that note set up and created, you can sell a partial. Okay. You can sell part of that note.
Right.
All right. You can let it season. Maybe you want it to go 10 years. All right. And then you go and sell the note off. Okay. That's fine. You have the option at any point along the way, particularly if you structured it well, to be able to sell that note. So you're not locked in to 20 to 30 years waiting for that money to come in. You
Right.
can tap into it at any time. And that's what a lot of landlords they tend to forget.
Right.
All right, after that note is created.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. You know, like you said, that's the beautiful thing about notes. It's just a whole new world. There's just so much to learn.
Slice and dice
Slice and
however
dice
you want.
However you want, yeah. And that's what people don't realize is that, you know, banks really understand this. And, you know, I'd encourage for people to really take a little bit of time to do this. If you've bought a property, whether it's your personal property, an investment property, do the math. Look at how much interest you pay in the first 4 or 5 years and what the balance is. So after 3 years, you've been paying on this mortgage, say $2,000 a month for 3 years. What is the balance?
It hasn't moved very much.
It hasn't moved very much, right? And that's exactly why we like it in the banks, is because you have the ability to just slice and dice it. And if you need to, like you said, you own $200,000 note, and let's say you needed $100,000. There's a way where you can liquidate and get $100,000 worth of the payments. You still own it. You may either, you know, hypothecate it, which is pledging it, right, or selling the next,
just selling part of it.
selling part of it, saying, you know what, I just want to take $100,000. You do the math and you run the numbers and you say, I'm going to sell Jay the next 100 payments of this, you know, mortgage note, and you get $100,000.
Yeah.
Simple.
It's that simple. And then when it comes to the 101st payment after that, it reverts back to you
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah.
So I think that is one of the beautiful things, particularly for people that like you are doing. You're funding properties, you're fixing them up, you're seller financing them out. I think it's a beautiful thing when we're working with operators, all right. You don't have to necessarily take a discount. Now, if you're going to sell the whole note, you're going to take a discount. But you don't necessarily have to take a discount for the entire sale, because you can sell a partial, we'll buy that partial, that recapitalizes you, okay?
To be able to...
It gives you, it recapitalizes you, plus it gives you a little profit now for you to continue your operations, and you can go do the deal. You can sit and wait until that partial finishes up, and then that reverts back to you. Your money's out of the deal. And the people that we have worked with, by and large, most of those guys will make an extra 25 to 35% more at the end, and they get all of what the purchase price was, okay, plus an additional 20 or 30% more based off the interest that's due to them on the back end. So you're putting away what you're creating wealth for the long term, while you're generating these sales right up
Right.
front, making profit now, operating, taking a profit off of it. You're not necessarily getting it all up front, but you're banking it. You're banking it. And when that starts coming back in 4 or 5 years, it's bingo. It's big.
Yeah, I mean, it's magic. I mean, you think about it. You set up a note. Just give an example. Let's say it's $1,000 cash flow a month. You set up a note. You're getting $1,000 a month. No tenants, no toilets, turnover.
Yeah.
You literally could, be traveling with your family. You really can take a vacation, and you simply log in, making sure people are making their payments, make sure insurance is paid. But it's like you said, nowhere near the amount of energy and effort. What's going on with my rental? I hope my tenant doesn't call me at 3 in the
Hope
morning.
they're not tearing it up.
It up. Their neighbor did something, tree fell on the property, weather, roof, plumbing, gas leak,
the owner, the
HVAC.
deed holder takes care of all of that.
And that's why the banks really enjoy and do that, is they own and manage a lot of notes, not properties, because, if I have a problem with my toilet, I'm not going to, Bank of America, I have a problem with my, no, it's not
I
their
don't
problem.
think I ever made that call.
Yeah, so
It's a
we really
Bank of
enjoy
America.
that. But yeah, no, Jay. Well, it's been great to build a relationship, and what would you say for people that want to get started? Where could they reach out to you, and why would you think that these events, for example, are so important and crucial?
These events are, I've been at 3 of them this year. I know you've been at different ones as well. Is where it's always an exchange of ideas. It's always, many of the vendors that we use are vendors that have been here at at these types of events. But more importantly, it's the relationships. Man, I first met you at one of these types of events, okay?
Yeah.
And that's led to us doing some business together. It's led to us doing business with other people, all right? And it's a camaraderie and an exchange of ideas and growth, and that's how you build out a business. That's how you grow a portfolio. So if you're looking to become part of the, I'll say, the Note community, all right, you need to attend an event. If you want to learn about more of what we do, you can go directly to our website at Cassidy, CassidyInvestments.com, and you can sign up for we have a quarterly newsletter. You can sign up for our quarterly newsletter there that we just share basically what we're working on, what we're doing, how our businesses are operating, and just it's a way that we keep everybody updated that kind of follows us, as well as our private lenders are on that list. They get an update in that respect as well. And then we also host a monthly Note Talks. It's called, it's nothing crazy. It's just Note Talks with Kyle and Jay. All right, so but we go over the deals that we're evaluating, why we chose this, why we didn't choose this, why we priced something like this. It's a chance for, if you want to learn more about the note business or thinking you're wanting to be an active note investor, it's a great place to ask questions, all right? The first part, we always open it up to ask questions, all right, so we can get whoever the audience is there, get their questions answered, and if they have a deal they want us to review, we'll do that and give them feedback. All right, and that's just kind of, there's no cost for that. That's just part of our give back to the community, and we have a whole bunch of educational materials that's on our website there. It's all free. So invite you to come in that respect.
No, I appreciate you, Jay. Yeah, you guys have I really enjoy getting your guys' newsletter and kind of seeing what you guys have going on, and your videos as well, very educational, and they're, bite-sized, pieces.
The
to
tidbits,
where,
the note tidbits,
right?
like
tidbits.
2 minutes.
Yeah, you have, 2 or 3 minute videos that explains something that, to me may be something like, what does that word even mean? Hypothecate, what? Like, I have no clue, and you're breaking it down. And then also the full-on videos where it may be 45 minutes or an hour.
Yeah, we have like a 100 level, a 200 level, and a 300 level. It gets more into from the very beginning type of stuff to a little bit more deeper type of analysis of certain types of things.
Yeah, and I think, you know, your guys' story is just inspiring, and knowing that, you know, you started your IRA with, once again, what was it? You funded your IRA.
The first note that we purchased was through the self-directed IRA.
Self IRA, and we'll do $10,000 or $20,000 or something.
I don't even remember what it was now, to be honest. I don't know.
And you've grown.
I know we got 15 notes in there right now.
And you've grown into what it is now. So yeah, awesome. We'll go ahead and wrap it up, Jay. I don't know if there's any last things that you would say that you've maybe learned over the years, or you wish you would have known when you first got started in this space?
I would have found out about this about 20 years ago, to be honest.
Okay.
So
it's been it's been a journey, really finding out, like you had in your mind, you know what, I may want to get into something else, or maybe you learned about Note somehow but didn't find a really good community or somewhere where you can really learn, because like you said, I think it took several years to finally actually. You learned about it, maybe heard about it, but once I
had heard about Notes probably 15 years ago. Okay, I actually took one course on Donna Bauer. Okay, took her course and everything, and went to her little boot camp. But I was thinking of that at that point from the standpoint of just if we needed to do some seller financing at any point, I needed to know how to walk that through, which that gave me the knowledge that I needed for that point.
Right.
It didn't really click to me at that point as far as you can run a whole business and a portfolio out of that, and you don't have to, but as we've gotten older, we've gotten the portfolio, both the real estate and the notes that we have now, it really becomes less of me and more of Kyle, and what does this look like for what he wants for down the road. So we're structuring things in a way so that it fits what he wants, because his personality is not the same as mine.
Right.
All right. And as a result, his skills, all right, are different than mine. All right. He does a lot of the back end stuff. He's great on computers. I stink at computers. All right. So we've divvied up our roles as far as running the business and everything. I am the front man. I talk with private lenders. I source the deals, find the deals. We evaluate together. If we're in agreement, then we make the bid. All right. He handles all the back end. Once the private lenders come on board, he makes sure that they get paid on a consistent basis, and the checks and everything are going out consistently. And he also supervises making sure that looking over the servicing companies that's servicing our notes, make sure that everybody's being paid coming in on a monthly basis as they're supposed to.
Yeah.
So that's how we have divvied it up, and he still manages the real estate stuff, and we're gradually selling those off, and he can't get rid of them fast enough.
Yeah. Because the $1 million question: would you rather have your kids inherit a portfolio of rentals or portfolio of notes?
Yeah, notes are way easier, way better. That's an easy answer.